I want to welcome everyone to the corporate wellness program put on by IDLife. This is an extremely exciting opportunity. I have been traveling around the country, talking all over the country about IDLife and its corporate wellness program and what makes us different and what adds value to each company. And the purpose of today is to give you that information, to show you what makes us different, to show you why the information that we have is useful and will plug into any existing program that you might have. You know, ID Life believes strongly in the concept of a corporate wellness program because it fits in directly with what we believe as a company. And most importantly, that involves that each individual is designed uniquely and differently. And each individual has the right, the God given right, to design the life that they choose. The problem with most corporate wellness programs, though, is that the information provided is more general in nature. It's more generalized. And what ID Life has done differently is it's developed a program that individualizes the information to the individual such that they're more likely to actually act on the information provided to them. Now, I start this because I want to tell my story a little bit. You see, I have a tendency to sometimes sound like a preacher when I go through corporate wellness. And when I've met with companies across the country, I always want to make sure I tell this first because I'm coming from a place of passion because I was there. Specifically, that's me with my daughter when she was very young, about 3 years old in the picture. And then a few years later, we decided we were going to take the kids to Disney World for the first time. And I got home and got to see the pictures and realized that I was at 305 pounds. And the reason why I share this is because I'm now walking around about 200 pounds. And it took me 17 years to basically figure out that I needed to share this story with people so that they could understand why it was that I was so passionate about nutrition. You see, I've been doing something else for 17 years, and now all of a sudden I've jumped into ID Life, and people couldn't understand why I was so willing to jump into something so different than what I'd done previously. And what I told them was, I've lived through the process. I knew what it was like to be unhealthy, and I spent months trying to figure out what to do, trying different diets, trying different fads, trying different things, going through corporate wellness programs, getting information that identified for me what I should be doing, supposedly, when in fact all it was generalized information about what everyone can do. Drink your 8 glasses of water, eat your fruits and vegetables, etc. But what I found was when I finally figured out what worked after all of those months, I was able to do something about it. But the thing that I had to really figure out is I had to change what was going on in my head. And see, what most people do when they think about corporate wellness and they think about change is they have in their mind, something different. When you're going to lose weight, you kind of have that biggest loser mentality. And there's a fear factor associated with it. Jillian is a great person, great motivator, but most people feel like it's just going to be too hard. And corporate wellness today, 70% of Americans are obese. We are the second largest obese population in the world. Mexico took that away from us last year, and we're doing everything we can this year to take it back. But the reason why I point out obesity as part of the corporate wellness program is because it directly leads to a much higher percentage of the use and health benefits, as well as a much larger percentage of the metabolic syndrome, the type 2 diabetes, the hypertension, and all the other diseases that we have a tendency to do to ourselves. And what ends up happening is people either, they're too afraid to start or they go to the extreme. And when you go to the extreme, it can be just as bad. And what we're trying to do is show a slow, progressive approach to wellness, kind of what we think as the proper approach to wellness. But the way that we get there is you have to change the way you think. In reality, what it is you have to change the 6 inches between your ears. I've had the pleasure of going through a lot of grocery stores and convenience stores and chains and other things recently because of what I'm doing now and taking a look at labels and things. And what you find is processed food today, and it doesn't matter if it's fast food or packaged food or whatever the case may be, there are all kinds of ingredients that are in those foods that the human body does not even recognize as nutrition, does not do it. And what that leads to is an epidemic because it's fast, it's easy, we eat it, and it results in the unwanted epidemic that we now have in this country, as well as all the other chronic diseases and other things that we're suffering from. Well, the wellness programs are created in the hopes of curbing the uncontrollable cost of healthcare, as well as trying to get an aging employee population healthier. Because, let's be frank, the idea here is more and more companies are going to a self insured model. And by going to a self insured model, what has happened is companies had taken on the risk of the health of their employees. And the only way to curb that risk is to invest in the employee's health and wellness. And you have to do that through certain forms. Now, I'm going to use a certain vocabulary today when I talk about wellness. And most of the people that are on this call already know what these terms mean. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time that I typically do when I'm educating or I'm teaching about wellness and I'm teaching about what these terms mean. But I want to make sure that everyone has an opportunity to understand what they mean to IDLife. And at the conclusion of this webinar, we're actually going to make this recording available for people. And you can actually use the slide deck to actually use and compare and take a look at the definitions and see what it is that we're doing and why we think we're doing it differently, and the definitions that we use and how that fits into our program. Absenteeism is simply sick days. The thing about sick days is last year alone, it cost the U.S. economy $73 billion. And I'm going to go through the details of that. But I spoke with one doctor not too long ago, and he told me that, if I feel really bad when I'm sick because every time I'm sick, it costs my practice $10,000 just for being out. I've talked to school teachers and administrators who have said, the cost of a substitute teacher is exponentially growing as the health of our teachers goes down. And school systems, as you know, across this country are trying to find money so that they can put programs and put educational systems in place to educate the children. And right now, a lot of that cost and expense is going to finding the substitute teacher to fill because of all the sick days that are going on. There's also the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. And I know it has a negative connotation in a lot of people's eyes, but there's actually some real positives in that law. And one of the positives is it actually does provide a benefit for workforces and employers that want to actually try and work through a wellness program that gets their employees healthy. In fact, as you can see, starting next year, you can subsidize up to a 30% reduction in premium, which amounts, according to the national average, of about $1,620 per employee for these types of programs. The whole concept here is that we're going to have so many people coming into the healthcare system and so few doctors that are actually there to treat them. We're trying to do everything we can, including through Obamacare and the Affordable Care Act, to curb the use of the benefits program if we can. And so as a result, the Affordable Care Act actually commissioned some studies and other things we're going to look at today. And they're truly trying to promote wellness. So if your current plan actually complies with the Affordable Care Act, which I hope that it does, and you can get that certified, then there's some real benefits to you for implementing the proper wellness program. Well, one of the other things that is included in most wellness programs is biometric testing. And in fact, it's in about 65% of wellness programs currently. And biometric testing is the blood work, the blood pressure, and the BMI ratings, and all the other things that create the baseline. The problem that biometric testing has, in our opinion, is it provides a false sense of security. If you don't know what you don't know, biometric testing is perfect because it will actually educate you on the extremes, whether or not you're abnormal or not, on either end of the spectrum, low or high. And for that purpose, it is absolutely invaluable to the proper wellness program. The problem that we have with biometric testing is when you look at what normal means, because normal can be a vast difference depending on who you are. And we're going to use one example in this presentation for you to take a look at. Census, obviously, this is the data on which you are rated. This is how companies determine what their rates are going to be, determine what their premiums are going to be. Census data is, in essence, what we are trying to reduce. We are trying to reduce that usage on the health benefits system on a year-to-year basis, because without a reduction in the census data, everything's going to keep going up the way that it has historically, which is a 10 to 15% increase every single year. in the cost of healthcare and health benefits. Corporate wellness program is basically the exactly what we're here to talk about. It is the intent and purpose to create a lifestyle in an employee that changes behavior, that results in a reduction in the use of the health benefits. That's the hope. But more importantly, it's not just a diet, it's not just a fad, it's hopefully changing the 6 inches between their ears so that they actually make a measured change year over year over year so that you actually have increases in productivity and reductions in absenteeism. The ID assessment. The assessment is our game changer. It is what makes IDLife unique. There are over 7,000 independent medical scientific studies that are included in that. There's over 4,000 algorithms running through the information. It's a 25 to 28 questionnaire, all HIPAA protected, HIPAA certified, that incorporates the science of chronobiology, which is the science of your natural biological rhythms, with over 1.3 million possible outcomes, that then provides to you information just about you in the form of the ID assessment report. The ID assessment report is a detailed 15 to 17 page document that takes into account all of the answers you gave, ran through all of the algorithms, and says you, just you, not to the person to the left of you, not the person to the right of you, but you. This is where you are currently. And here's the answer that you gave. And here's what it looks like on a visual dial. And it looks kind of like a speedometer, red being empty and green being full. And it shows you where you are on that speedometer. And it will let you know whether or not, you are doing something good or you're doing something bad based upon the answer that you provided. And that alone isn't enough. Right to the left of it, and we're going to look at it today, it actually shows you things that you can change, small incremental things that you can do that will actually make a measured difference and actually cause a change. The power of the ID assessment report is unlike anything you've ever seen before. It is individualized to each person, and each person has their own report. Presenteeism. This is a term of art that is kind of new. It is something that more and more companies are starting to measure. It is, in essence, the people that are there but aren't there. It is the 3 o'clock on a Friday when your productivity in your office goes down to almost nothing because people start watching the clock. It is the measurement by which a lot of companies are starting to look at what is the productivity of their workforce from 8 a.m. to noon versus 1 p.m. to 5. The idea being there with the increase of obesity in this country, over 70% now, and the lunch portions that are served in every restaurant and fast food place imaginable. People come back from lunch and they have a tendency to feel lethargic and they lack energy and they don't have what they need to get through the rest of the day. Well, the idea is when you measure those things, and a lot of companies have, you can see statistics that show that as much as a 40% reduction in productivity occurs in the afternoon as a result. And what ends up happening is companies, as a result, still need the production, so they actually hire more people. They said that absenteeism last year cost the U.S. economy $73 billion, but presenteeism actually cost twice as much, if not more. And because it's just now starting to be measured, they don't know specifically what those numbers are, but presenteeism is a real epidemic and something that more and more companies are having to start to focus on, because as the energy levels and the lack of productivity increases, the cost of actually creating an employee population to do the work increases, which increases the demand on the benefits, as you might guess. So it's a scalable system that you're going to have to keep a close eye on. ROI, that is the return on investment. That is exactly what we're here to try and identify. It's exactly what we're going to try to increase. It is exactly the whole purpose of a wellness program. You want to make sure as a company that you're actually investing in your employees and your employees are investing in themselves, that results in some measurable increase to the reduction that you're seeing in the cost of health benefits and the productivity level of the employees. So ROI is what we're really focused on. And of course, the self-insured is what more and more companies are going to. It is the model by which the Affordable Care Act is pushing people. And there's some benefits and there's some real detriments to the self-insured model. But one of the biggest things about the self-insured model is it's shifting the risk from the typical insurance risk over to the company risk. And as a result, more and more companies are going to have to start focusing on wellness and the wellness of their employees to curb that risk associated with being a self-insured. Three main types of wellness programs exist. The first are the education programs. Those are the programs that just provide the information to the employee and nothing else. There's all kinds of statistics and all kinds of studies out there as to whether or not those programs standalone are effective. And I welcome you to go take a look at them. But for the most part, what you'll find is they're not as effective as most companies would like. And as a result, most companies have gone to the second form, which is education with biometric screening. The biometric screening, does provide information on what you don't know, which is important. It also provides a baseline year to year so that you have measurables year to year as to whether or not the employees are actually getting healthier. But as I said earlier, one of the problems with the biometric screening is it does also provide a false sense of hope in that it does give people that normal result, and that normal result can actually cause more problems than anything else, and I'll show you why in just a second. Now, the ones that are really starting to get the return on investment, the ones that are really starting to see the benefit of what it is they're doing, are the education programs that are coupled with biometric screening and fitness and nutrition. And more companies are going to the fitness nutrition route to actually see the return on investment, to really see the benefit of having a healthier workforce. A lot of companies are starting to build gyms in their businesses, or providing a benefit of, a discounted health membership, or signing up an agreement with a corporate account with a gym so that there's some type of discount afforded to the employee to encourage them to get fit. But most importantly, they're also starting to recognize proper nutrition plays a key role in the health of the employee. And they're starting to use educational programs on nutrition, and they're starting to provide information on it. But IDLife actually provides a plan completely centered on nutrition. That ID assessment report not only tells people things like, if you would only eat, if you would cut 125 calories a day out of your meal, just 125, saying no to cheese on a cheeseburger, that at the end of 1 year, you'd have lost 33 pounds. Not only does it tell you small things like that that are measurable, not trying to tell you that you have to go from 2,800 calories to 1,800 calories to see a difference. But in addition to that, it also gives you detailed information on proper nutrition, things that you need, things that you're lacking based upon the information that you gave. It actually gives you a plan. And I keep saying you because you being the individual, it doesn't give you generalized information. It doesn't say, you as everyone else needs to do this. No, what it says, here's the answer that you gave. And based upon the answer that you gave, here's what you need to do so that you can move your needle from green to red, or red from red to green. Now, return on investment. I want to make sure that everyone understands that all of these studies that I'm about to share with you are independent. Obviously, we didn't have anything to do with the Center for Disease Control doing a study that came out that said that a proper wellness program coupled with nutritional and fitness components can get you anywhere from a $3 to $6 return on investment for every dollar spent. And I'm going to give you the links here in just a second where you can actually go out and read these studies if you decide you want to. But more importantly, it also reduces the chances of heart attack and stroke, because by actually introducing proper nutrition and proper diet and proper fitness, you're actually curbing that metabolic syndrome that leads to the heart attacks and strokes and everything else. Well, it wasn't enough. The U.S. Chamber of Commerce decided that they were going to come out and do a study just like it. And fortunately, they came out with the same exact result. They just did it in a different way. They said that it's $3.27 for medical savings and $2.73 for absenteeism cost, which adds back up to $6. We hope that our tax dollars didn't go to pay for both of those studies, but probably did. But the concept here is that two independent studies finding the same results in different time periods. But then the one that really kind of sticks out is this one, where it says improper nutrition results in $1,900 to $2,250 per employee per year. That's your sick days. That's your people that are there. That's your presenteeism. That's lack of energy, lack of effort. I mean, it's all of that stuck into one real measurable study. And the most important thing about that study is the 45 million sick days that could have been avoided with proper nutrition. And that's just proper nutrition. And remember, proper nutrition can include supplementation, as well as eating habits, as well as diet, as well as everything else. And it all stems back to proper education to the individual about their individual needs. So if you, and by the way, the 45 million sick days was the $73 billion cost to the U.S. economy last year. If you want to see the studies that I just referenced, there's the citation. I'll give you a chance to take a picture of it. But like I said, you can go there and read them yourselves. I have read them multiple times. It's scary, the results, and what's interesting about the results is it says that you can actually get a measured increase on your wellness program with proper education with regard to fitness and nutrition. So that's what IDLife wants to do. Let's look at the traditional current wellness program so I can kind of show you the problem. You get your blood work. You then have a T-shirt or a towel or something else for participating. And you have a online system. The online system keeps track of whether or not employees have, drink their 8 glasses of water and taken their fruits and vegetables and all the other things that you're trying to encourage them to do. The problem with that, and the problem with that system, and the why companies are not getting the ROI that they want is because it doesn't include that fitness and nutrition component, but also because you have things like this. Normal is dangerous. A man with a T level or testosterone level, a man over 40 with a testosterone level between 300 and 1,000 is considered normal. Well, you show me a guy with a T level of 1,000 and a guy with a T level of 300, I'm going to show you one guy that'll run through a wall and another guy that won't be able to make it to the wall. They're two totally different men, but unfortunately, they are considered normal for purposes of blood testing. And that's the problem with pure biometric testing. Obviously, if it's in the abnormally low or abnormally high, that's a risk factor and it's absolutely necessary. So I don't want you to take from this that we're saying biometric testing should be eliminated, because it should not. The fear and the problem with biometric testing is what is in fact normal. This is the problem with the online assessments as they exist right now. They are simply check the box. They are, did you do what everyone else needs to do? They're not individualized. It's not individual information. It's just about generalizing health and fitness. What makes us different? Well, IDLife has a few difference makers. One, obviously, is this video, and it's on the front page of our website. I encourage you to go take a look at it, because not necessarily that Troy Aikman is an investor in the company and he's not been paid a dime. He basically gave us the ability to use him as our national spokesperson. Not that. But the thing is, when you watch this video, Troy actually talks about when he was a professional athlete, he had a team of people that told him what to do, when to do it, and how to do it. And when he retired, it was on him. He had to decide. He had to figure it out on his own. And when he looked at IDLife, he said, this is exactly what I've been looking for. This takes all the guesswork out. And that's what we try to do. We actually try to take the guesswork out by providing that report, providing that information to the individual. This is what the assessment looks like. You get there, there's videos throughout that explain what it is, how to take it. It gives you or asks you all kinds of different questions about yourself, from lifestyle to medications to conditions that you're suffering from to your own wellness. It asks you all of the various questions. And what you get is this recommendation. And as you can see, there's the visual of what the speedometer looks like. But that report is a detailed report, 15 to 17 pages long, that gives you exactly the information that you need, because it's only about you. And that information actually provides the difference maker for purposes of plugging into a wellness program. See, that's the kind of detail that you get. You can see where the dial is, and you can kind of see the information that's provided on each one of them. Now, the reason why we want to do wellness is because we want this information in the hands of everybody. This information is invaluable. We've already paid to have this assessment created. 17 to 18 years of development time, thousands of medical and scientific studies supporting every one of the recommendations. We have thousands of algorithms running all at the same time. In order to incorporate this into your existing wellness program, it is only a $99 per year fee, not $99 per employee, not $99 per whatever. It's $99 per year for the company to implement this into their existing program. And what it does is it gives you a portal by which people can go in, take the assessment, get the information, print off the report. But more importantly, the company will actually have a website where it can go on and actually see all of the employees that have actually finished the report. Now, the report itself is HIPAA protected, HIPAA certified. That means you won't actually be able to see the information that the employee gets. But what you will be able to do is verify whether or not the employee has actually taken the assessment. The reason why that's important is because a lot of companies kind of have a carrot approach. Some are moving to a stick approach, but most have a carrot approach to their wellness program. What that means is once you've completed certain measurables, you've done a biometric test, you've taken the assessment, you've done these various things, there's little check boxes where you reward your employees. What we're trying to do is just make this as easy as we can. We already have the investment into the system. We just want to get our brand out there. We want to make sure people understand what it is we're trying to do through health and wellness. We're just trying to get that wonderful little blue man that you see in the bottom right hand corner recognized. And by introducing our information that should be in the hands of every individual and taking our part and being a partner with you to actually try to get your employees healthy, we feel like that's going to benefit us exponentially because we're trying to get our brand in everyone's hand. Now, if you decide you want to go down the road to get to the next level, you don't have to. There's no obligation whatsoever here. But one of the things we do offer to people that do sign up on the corporate wellness program is a 30% discount to their employees who want to participate in the ID Nutrition. ID Nutrition is customized nutrition in strip pack form with their name on it, designed just for the individual. It incorporates the science of chronobiology. It incorporates all kinds of medical and scientific studies. It incorporates 17 and a half years of development. And what it does is it takes pharmaceutical grade nutritional supplements. Pharmaceutical grade you cannot buy in a store, you cannot get at a local convenience store or discount drugstore or anything else. It takes pharmaceutical grade nutritional products, provides them to you in strip packs with your name on it, telling you when to take it and how to take it. So it takes all of the guesswork out. The ID assessment report provides the plan on how to implement it. And I can tell you, you can go on and look at the testimonials of the people that are taking this product. And one of the things is, I spend about 30% of my personal time doing compliance to make sure people are not making medical claims with regard to this product. And it's very difficult because we're seeing some unbelievable results for folks and they just want to share it with the world. And we literally spend a lot of time telling them that we are not making medical claims. We do not believe that we have the super pill. We do not believe we have the secret sauce from the jungles or wherever, that we don't believe that that actually exists. What we think is when somebody takes the proper nutrition in a pharmaceutical grade at the right time, filling their nutritional gaps based upon where in life they currently are, that the body actually has an opportunity to do what it was designed to do, which is take care of itself. That's what we believe, and we're seeing the results to prove it. So what we're trying to do through this offering is say, look, we can offer you the ID assessment report for a simple $99 investment. And if your employees want to take the next step and invest in their wellness and do the nutrition component, great. If you want to make it a part of your offering as a carrot so that you want to talk more about the ID nutrition and how you incorporate it into your wellness, great. Happy to talk to you about it. But in reality, all we're trying to do is for a $99 fee, offer up the information. And that $99 fee just basically covers the cost of the website. And what your employees can do is go in there, incorporate it into an existing wellness program that already exists, and then get that data and actually make a measured change because it's information just about them that can help them. Now, let's add the other piece to this that a lot of wellness programs miss. The biggest problem with a lot of wellness programs is they don't incorporate the family. Well, through our information and through the ID assessment, any family member can also take this. And they can also get the same information. They can also get the report that is just about them so that they can actually have a measured change in their life. And if you're providing, family benefits to your employees, which most are, and you have a wellness program that is designed just for your employees, you're missing 3 of the 4 individuals from that person that are actually on your plan. So what we're doing is actually providing the information to an entire family, to your entire pool, to your entire census, as opposed to the typical plan that just involves the employee themselves. If you do want to learn more about IDLife and its wellness offering, you can send an email to info@idlife.com. In the subject line, type in wellness program dash your company name with some contact information, and we will have somebody reach out to you immediately to get back in touch with you, to give you more information, to give you more detailed information, or to provide more information with regard to what makes us different, how you plug in the system. Everyone signs a contract with the company. Each one is individualized. Each one is unique. We design them so that they fit the company's needs, either incorporating into an existing program or a standalone if that's what you decide you want to do. But whatever the case may be, if you have an interest, info@idlife.com, wellness program dash company name, leave a name and a contact number, and we will get somebody back to you just as soon as possible. I want to thank everyone today. I want to be respectful of your time. I said I would be in and out in 30 minutes, and it's 31 minutes. So I'm going to go ahead and end the webinar now, but I do appreciate it. I really hope that we have an opportunity to be a part of your wellness program. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to contact us. Thank you.